Hi everyone, this is Juliet here. By some magic, I'm here. I didn't think I was going to get here. And lovely Brigitte, who's still somewhere in France. I'm not quite sure where you are, Brigitte. Where are you?
I'm still with family. I've been very active, creating beautiful things, weaving, knitting, making curtains, walking, going to the frozen waterfall, and walking in a wild area which is just in the Tarn-et-Garonne. So that's southwest France. Yeah. Good evening, Jack.
Yeah, good evening, Jack. So we know that YouTube is working. So I just want to check that Facebook is working, and because this morning my schedule has changed massively from what I thought it was going to be. So is there anybody there on Facebook?
Well, I can see Debbie. Hello, Debbie.
Are you on Facebook, Debbie?
I don't know. And Abigail? Hello, Abigail.
So have they got the little Facebook symbol next to them when they're saying hello?
Hello, Julie.
Ah, yes, we're going live. That's wonderful. So thanks everyone for giving me the space just to check this out. I spent ages this morning talking to the people who run Restream to try and figure out why it wasn't linking up to Facebook. And last night I did say that I wasn't sure about the Facebook link, but it is working, and so is Twitter. So hello everybody on Twitter. Hello everybody on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, amazing. We have done it. So yeah, so I love those photographs and those little videos that you made in the woods in did you say Tarn-et-Garonne you're in? No.
Yes, I'm in the Tarn-et-Garonne. I'm above Caylus, and I've been visiting the ancient water places where we men used to go with a wheelbarrow. They used to go once or twice a week. And it used to be a very profound place to share by the water. And they used to have stones, and they used to put the sheets and all their washing. And what I love about it, the energy there was absolutely very quiet, very beautiful. And I love the feeling of sitting there or standing there with children laughing, very young ones, or babies in arms or in baskets, because that was a place where we men used to be able to share painful stories, or how your mother is, how is your father. There was a kind of profound community which was bringing coherence. And I went there, I went to 3 of them and really gave homage. And I went to a place as well, which was a windmill. And the energy there was so peaceful. I just didn't want to leave it. And the windmill has been renovated twice and was gifted by a British couple to the commune. And they have 3 times a year meetings there as a sort of patrimony, the French patrimony of the old places.
What does
patrimony is? It's a cultural, it's what used to be common, like windmills used to be places where people would bring the wheat they'd grown or their rye, and then they would have their rye and their wheat grounded, and then they would have the capacity to make the breads. Everyone here had a little
kind of communal space where everybody gets their wheat ground or their bread.
Yes. It was. It's a huge windmill. I did a video which I put on Facebook. I'm not home. I've not had time to put it on YouTube. And near it, there were little square fields with walls built up, which you know about. And there was a little protective, like a cairn, which is made of stones, and it's on the ground is just earth. And that is where the shepherd used to be sitting or sleeping while the sheep used to be grazing. So this area is we're very much on rock, very parched.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. There's some
So
people
great
coming in.
resourcing in very wild nature, and the waters have been turquoise blue, green, very beautiful. And the
But where,
petrified waterfall was stunning, absolutely stunning. So I put some short videos. I have not put a lot of words because I felt it was so powerful. It could just offer its own medicine to each one of you.
that's interesting, isn't it? It's like those places where community got together and did those tasks together as a communal thing. It's very nourishing, and those things have gone away now, haven't they? We don't have them in our culture anymore, where we do our washing together, or we bake our bread together, or we grind our wheat together. I mean, it's much more culturally live in France than it ever was. I think it was lost from the UK a very long time ago, but they are very nurturing because they reinforce that relationship. They really support that relationship and that connection of people in the community together, the sense of belonging to somewhere and to a group, part of your tribe.
Yes, and very much the celebration of the seasons. So in different seasons, there would be celebrations, and you'd go to. There used to be even a very big bread oven, not just your own individual, where you could be, making huge special cakes for the whole community to all come together. And like in autumn and in the spring, the renewal seasons. And somehow we've just gone away, and we used to dance together. And dancing was a place to meet. You used to meet young women, young men.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
celebration used to go into the night with a fire, les feux de la Saint-Jean, so jumping over.
Le feu de what? Say that
Les
again.
feux de la Saint-Jean, the
Saint-Jean.
fires of Saint John,
Oh, I see.
where you used to jump and leap, and the young men used to leap over the fire.
So before we go on, a number of people have joined saying hello. Hello to everybody who's joined so far and all your messages. And Debbie said that she saw your lovely videos, Mabi, and mine too, and also see such things on walks and imagine how they were years ago.
Yes.
That's interesting, Debbie. I'm wondering where on walks you've been to where you see that in Britain. But the fires, Le Feu de Saint-Jean.
Oui, les feux de la Saint-Jean.
De la okay,
Les
d'accord.
feux de la Saint-Jean.
De la.
I have done that, and I have jumped over them with my community while being in France. And my children used to love it. I was in my late 40s and 50s and 60s even. I still jumped. And I still jumped over one this year, last year. So it is an homage to the spirit of the fire. It's a circle, and everyone is around, and it's just like, can you do it? Can you jump over the fire? It's like a ritual.
Okay, and is that at a particular time of year?
Yes, it is.
Which time of year? Which time of year?
It's in. I'd have to look it up. I think it might be in the month of the June.
Because in England we have the Celtic ceremonies, and the Celtic culture must have obviously spread across France as well.
Yes.
So there's the 4 ceremonies, which are the solstices and the equinoxes. That's the cross, and then there are the crosses. There's the cross quarter ceremonies like that cross those ones. So those are Beltane. That's in April, which is between the solstice and the spring equinox. No, that's after the spring equinox. Between the spring equinox and the summer equinox. And in Beltane, we have the Beltane fires where people jump over the fires. So I'm wondering if it's the same cultural event. So that's very interesting.
I'm just checking right now. Yes, it is June the 23rd. St. John's Eve, June the 23rd this year. So it's like the solstice, the summer solstice.
With the solstice, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, And then we
So
have other celebrations. Sorry, Juliet.
that's okay. Summer solstice, Jack's saying. So that's really, when you went to those places, did you feel in your body, a feeling of like relaxation of the muscles and connection to yourself, and, you know, kind of letting down of feelings of anxiety and stress?
Well, there was a kind of absolutely curiosity, anticipation, rejoicing, and it's like the whole cellular level within every cell of the body was, oh, we're going to have fun tonight. We're going to be sitting on the ground. We're going to be singing. We're going to be dancing, and we're going to be seeing the flames. It was just absolutely the renewal, the revival of, we are moving into summer. We're moving into the
Yeah.
crops.
Yeah. So Paul's just joined us. He says, hi, ladies, just jumped on. Great to be here live for a change. Hi, Paul. And Maria is here. Hi, Juliet, both. And Abigail says, hello, Paul. So I'm not referring just to the event when it was happening, but I'm referring like visiting. I've just had this experience because it's been so intense, hasn't it? I mean, we all know how intense things have been and how hard we've all worked. I mean, absolute insanity we're facing at the moment. And we've given it our best shot to do as much as we can to support other people, to say no, to stand in our sovereignty and all those things. And then there comes a point when the body is just like tired and the psyche is tired. And how much longer can I go on with this? And knowing that this isn't a fast sprint, this is a marathon we're running, and there's a huge transformation happening. And we have to take time out. I mean, at the end of last week, that's how I'd got that. I absolutely had to take some time out. And so, like you, I didn't know what you were doing, Brigitte, but I just got up and went on a little journey, and I've been visiting ancient places and water places as well, so it's really curious. And I went to stay at this amazing place, and I just want to give a big shout out for this man. Shout out, I don't know if that's the right term, it's a kind of popular term, who runs an Airbnb. It's called the Orange Boy, and it's on the Jack, you are right, the Lizard was where I was. It was, he has his Airbnb on the Lizard Peninsula, and it's absolutely exquisite. He's an amazing craftsman, and he's made these beautiful, beautiful huts and cabins and sculptures with his hands, and everything you look at is beautiful. The little cabin I was staying in was so exquisite, so beautiful. And then he made another cabin, which he'd used, you love this, Brigitte, he'd used a rowing boat as the roof of the cabin. On top of the cabin, the whole cabin was shaped boat-like, and everything inside, it was like stepping into a museum. It was absolutely, I was just like awestruck when I went inside. But it had this effect on me of just really calming my nervous system and just like coming home, like with real, real art and connection and love brought to the environment, and not just this kind of fast-paced, disconnected kind of lifestyle that we're in these days. So that was beautiful. And Jack saying the Celtic festivals lasted for 3 days. To Saint Juan would have been on the last day. I don't know what that is. Saint Juan, Jack, please tell us.
Saint Juan would be Saint Jean, but for us it did last for a few days. But there was the one celebration. It was the celebration of Saint John's. If you remember, Saint John was the favorite apostle of Joshua, Jesus.
Okay, Saint John.
It was yes, Saint Jean. Yes, it was his favorite one. But what I love is that sort of the religious put on the ancestral celebration, they put the holy name of a holy saint, which in fact was venerated. But the connection with fire and the connection with the dance, the connection with the earth. And like you, when I went walking near the windmill, which wasn't open, of course, but I could feel that energy. I was just like, oh, this is where I want to belong. I could have lived there forever. I felt that I was there and I'd been there for centuries. And as I went into that little cairn where the shepherd used to sit, I could have stayed there for centuries because I felt I belonged. And like you, Juliet, it's like my nervous system felt, oh, this is so good. This is so sane. And I could feel the presence of the sheep around me. And yes, I could feel the cold. It was a bitterly cold day when we went with my sister. Everything was frosted around. And the most beautiful sunset behind the trees, which just made this heart. And I thought, isn't life beautiful? So there are beautiful people who are gifting, like this meal was gifted and totally repaired with the money of this couple, this English couple, and this French family who always looked after it and used it. It was grandfather to father, to wife, to daughter, etc. They'd always worked at it. They handed it over. They sold it to this English couple, Mr. and Mrs. Hyde, who then renovated it with their money, and who then handed it over to the commune of Saint Project, where there's this beautiful wash place that I did share with 6 places where the women used to come to wash, but not only to wash, they used to come down from the top with their wheelbarrows or their baskets and babies on the back. But they used to come as well to share what they were going through and to sing and transmit and pass on those beautiful songs. So when I carry my little grandniece, who is only not even 12 weeks old, I sing to her. And she's like on a little balcony and she adores it. And it feels like this is some of the transmissions we are all needing to, whatever your age, you know.
Reconnect, totally reconnect. Paul is saying he was struggling a lot yesterday with all the intensity and feeling brilliant today. And he's also asking whether we've explored our stolen history in relation to Tartaria. Paul, I'm glad you're feeling better. And I have been looking a little bit about Tartarian and curious about what that is, but I can't comment on it at the moment. I've seen a little bit. So that's not really the direction this conversation is going to go, because I can't talk any more about it. But I do plan to watch some things and maybe we can talk about it next week. And Julius Sullivan is saying sacred circles.
Yes.
So yeah, I've been visiting all these ancient Neolithic sites recently, the last few days, and I went to my most favourite of all places, which is Sancreed Sacred Well. And I've been having quite a problem with my hip the last few weeks, and like my body has been in so much pain and hobbling around like an old lady. It's been really awful, and like my left leg, no strength in it, and not being able to step up on my left leg. And so I was hobbling along to the spring, and then you have to go down some little steps. It's just like filled with great big megalithic stones, and you go down. I don't think I've taken you there, have I, Brigitte? But I have been there with Carol, I think. It's beautiful. I was thinking of you and wanted to take you there. And you go down, it's completely dark, and I lit some incense and put a camellia flower by the entrance, by the steps, and then went down and sat in the dark there. And then I did a prayer, and I prayed, amongst other things, that my hip would be better. And I have to say that a miracle happened, because as I made that prayer, I could feel all the muscles in my hip just relaxing, and it just completely went away. Wow. And it's been absolutely marvelous today. I did a big hike today through the woods down at the St. Nectan's Glen, and there's lots of slippery big stones and things to climb up over, and it's been absolutely fine. So, you know, miracles can happen, and we can connect like that. I don't think it was about anything magical with the spring. I just think it's like the effect it had on my body being in that place of our ancestors.
Sorry, I had a call.
It's okay.
And you disappeared, but I'm back. Hello, Caroline from Sweden. Hello.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So what I wanted to say to Paul very quickly, to go back on what you were saying earlier on, Juliet. Symbolism is a very profound. There's a lot of symbolism in a lot of the buildings, and a lot of our sacred symbolisms have been copied and pasted and inverted. So that's all I want to say. And right now, we need to bring our focus on where do my focus needs to go? Because if that is your field of research, Paul, then maybe you need to go there because that's something that's calling you. Or maybe there is something that belongs with you there. But right now, as everything is going to unfold, we really need to absolutely reclaim and watch we don't get, trapped or hooked and taken down the wrong rabbit hole. That's what I want to say about that. Because when you get taken down the rabbit hole, sometimes you lose your way. And then you're no longer in your authenticity if you're not managing to bring the balance. Because from what I've understood, the Cabal, to start with, was extremely powerfully working for the light. And it has been copied, pasted, and inverted. And a lot of the buildings, which were sacred buildings, have been copied, and many of them have been destroyed. And then there has been some inversion in the geometric patterns. So my feeling is we have within ourselves the perfect geometric patterns to be the gates of light, love, peace, authenticity that we can be, light and dark. You know? And my feeling is we need to be balanced, to bring the balance, because this is a very tricky time right now. Okay, we're at the end of something very profound, and we need to really stay very grounded. So, Juliet, you were sharing about going back to nature, going into the sacred places, doing invocation. That's what I've been doing too. I should be home by now. I've been overextending because we had snow, but I felt I was needed here. This place, this area, I had to be here. It's the same when I was by the ocean in September. I was meant to be there for a week, ended up spending 3.5 weeks. But I had to be walking those places. So what I'm inviting you, Paul, to do, check out. When you're walking with those places, they call you, just check out. What is it that you need to reclaim? Maybe from another timeline, another incarnation. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So just comment on a few. Thank you, Brigitte. This is important. So just a few people. So thanks for your good wishes about my hip jack. And Abigail says, have I tried the wells in Glastonbury? Yeah, I have been visiting those wells for a long time, Abigail. We have a beautiful healing spring here at Healing Waters as well. But I think there's just something about going to that ancient place. It's not just about going to a place. It's what happens at a particular time in one's own journey and one's own inner process. So at the end of last week, when I decided I had to go away, it was just because like my body was just full to the brim. I was just full to the brim with the amount of stuff I was dealing with and the amount of distress from people. And it's like I didn't have the capacity anymore to do another moment of being in that position, and I just needed to take myself out. And then I went on that journey and arrived at the Airbnb with the beautiful architecture, and just like I began to settle, and I was listening to my nervous system, when I had that space to listen to my nervous system, I could feel how much it was shaking, quivering, and normally I wouldn't be hearing that because I'm so tuned into everything else that's going on. So having that space to tune into myself and then to go to the spring, I think it was that combination. So it's the particular point in the journey, in the process. And then Debbie says that she had a similar experience with her hip, that one moment you're hobbling with a walking stick and the next minute you're jogging around. So Debbie, what's going on with you? What's going on with your stress levels? And because health and illness is very much about what is going on internally, not just physically, internally, emotionally, spiritually, with the nervous system. It's like what's going on when you're hobbling with a walking stick and what's going on when you're jogging. You know, there's a different kind of process there, isn't there? So to listen more closely. And
what is going on when you have the walking stick? You know, that third leg that helps you. You know, that's the feeling I have. We were talking with my sister to go with that wobbling, you know, and she said, "Oh, I can't do any further." And I said, "Have you thought of having walking sticks? Because sometimes having walking sticks really offers us that extra leg when we feel we can't just, you know, it's sometimes we are processing such profound material right now. I mean, right now I'm still processing material from my wrists, yeah. And I've seen the osteopath, a lovely young man here, and we went so deep with the process. So this is not just about this incarnation. What we are, you know, like what you were sharing, Paul, is, you know, how easy it is to move away and deviate from the source. I was by that windmill, and I thought, I can still smell the wheat. I could still feel the presence of the people waiting for their rye, waiting for their wheat. There was a circle around the windmill, and I could feel the people sitting on the stones around, having lunch, celebrating. It was such a beautiful, quiet energy. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes because I felt this is where we belong. But when we deviate, deviation is I want more than what I need, or I am a taker. Takers are those who cannot assimilate or digest information. And Juliet, with a trauma training, beautiful person who I've been training for years with, and she's my best friend, she can tell you when you have traumas, you dissociate. And you have to have compassion for these people because they can't assimilate. It's like they can't digest. There's no room. So, Juliet, you were saying earlier on, the cup was full. My cup is full. My cup is so full. I've been here for 3 weeks now at my sister's, and before that I'm entering my 3rd week at my sister's, and before that I was 2 weeks at my daughter's.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That my cup is so full most of the time with so much information from what you shared, Paul, and from everyone else, because we carry the cosmos within ourselves.
And as you were saying, it's all about balance, isn't it? So to listen acutely to yourself so that you don't go out of capacity, so that you stay in balance. And if you're losing capacity, then it's like really stepping back and taking that time for a break for yourself. What nourishes you? Yourself, that space.
Yes, it's Thomas Hubel was saying something like that, what you just said. Don't wait for your battery to be flat to go on holidays.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
To resource yourself. Remember, you need to resource on a regular basis, and you need to, you know, like the downloads and the uploads, and you need to regularly empty your database of what doesn't serve you anymore.
Yes, because how can you enjoy a holiday if when you go away and you're completely frazzled? You can't, can you?
And at the end of the holiday, what you say is, "Oh, I'm really now ready to have a holiday," and it's taken you 3 weeks just to unwind,
Yeah,
and then you are going to start resourcing yourself.
yeah.
Mm.
So I persuaded myself I was coming back tonight for this call. I was going to stay away for another night, but there was a mix-up on my booking. So I thought I'd booked 2 nights and I was only there for 1 night, and then they threw me out this morning. So I thought, never mind, I'm still going to go to St. Nectan's Glen, and went there and paddled in the water and made some beautiful prayers. And then I thought, oh, well, I'll go to Camelot Castle. And I got there and it was completely closed down, and it was like 2:15, and it's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this live feed? Because I'd had it all planned to happen from that other place that I was double booked on. So it's like, okay, right, I might just be able to make it back to Glastonbury. And I did it amazingly, non-stop. 2.25 hours from Cornwall back to Glastonbury in time for the call. So very proud of myself.
And I'm very proud of you, Juliet. Very, very, very impressed. My gracious me. 8 hours full on. You're a young chick. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. You're an amazing woman. St. Nectan's is so lovely.
Yeah. So
that's
Paul,
in Cornwall. Yeah, I used to go there in those places a long time ago.
Yeah, very beautiful. So Paul says, thank you, Mabi. Yes, the Illuminati are originally working for the good of humanity. If Tartaria is true, our ancestors had free energy harnessed from ether. Everything you said makes sense. Well, I guess we're going to find out more about that, Paul. I think I saw a film posted about the secrets of Tartaria were about to be revealed. And Debbie says, absolutely, about health and illness. Some of the things you said about you, Juliet, full to the brim, is the same for me. Lots involved, but I feel happy with it all as its messages. And you, Mabi, about the walking stick. I had already thought about that, but nice to have you say it too. And Abigail says, after us having the flu, I have been releasing on so many things at the moment and feeling of letting go of things. Yeah, illness is a real opportunity to process deep things, isn't it? Paul says, taken all your words onto account, ladies. And Debbie says, absolutely the same here, Abigail. Yeah.
And Maria, sorry, Maria, do you want to read it, Juliet, or do you want me to read Maria?
We've got Caroline here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you're saying. I've got Caroline.
I'm seeing Maria Flores Montoya. My stress levels are through the roof at the moment. I just feel like I need a complete break, and the depression just won't lift. TBH, I feel less down this time last year. I felt less down this time last year.
Oh, so you absolutely have to take a break. Absolutely take a break until, if you think about it, if you're like an animal in a cage or a rat in a maze or whatever, and there's no escape, there's absolutely the pressure piles on and piles on and piles on. You have got to take a break, otherwise you lose all your life force energy, all your motivation, and you know, go down this spiral. We call it the trauma spiral. You just go down, down, down. So can you take a break?
Yes, Maria, can you take a break? And can you boost your vitamin C, magnesium, and vitamin D3? Yeah. But can you have a break and resource yourself? It's like suddenly offering yourself the greatest Christmas gift, because we are at the end of something very profound. It's a huge, we are right now on the end of that huge tsunami wave, okay? And it's just going to slide and then clear everything. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, for us to witness the aftermath, but at least that contraction, that control over totalitarian process.
Yeah.
And yes, that's at the end of it. Okay. And what's been unfolding is beyond any one of us, our comprehensions. It's so huge, and not just in this timeline, but in other timelines too. So it's been a war on every level. But the key here is to have a look at, can I give myself a little bit of space so I can process what is needing to be transformed for myself?
Yeah.
If each one of us, we do that, then the collective field will be lifted into a higher frequency, a lighter frequency. That's my feeling. But if we don't engage and we feel that this is being done to us and this is outside us, then we are still dividing, and that is not going to be conducive to the transformation. So can you offer yourself, Maria, and everyone else on this call, like I've just done? I mean, I'm risking a lot because I've left my house without any heating. I've got a pool with a pump. I may find that the pump is completely dead, but I am risking, because coming away, being with family, reconnecting with the land, with the waters, the waterfalls, and the shepherds, all this, my roots, our roots, our roots as a community. This is where we have our core sanity. This feels like coming home. Like Juliet, you were saying earlier on, it feels like, being in that beautiful place which this man has created with an inverted boat of wood, which I can visualize, and beautiful houses, Airbnb. What a gift. And when we walk in those places, yes, like Abigail, you're saying, you're recharging your soul, but you're recharging your being. Your cellular memory is vibrant. It's like my little cells are singing and saying, oh, I've been there. I've been here. Maybe not in this incarnation, but I've been here. And I remember, like being by the water, I could hear the women singing. I could
Yes,
hear the children.
very profound. And Caroline says that with all the mental effort and the lack of physical work, it gets very exhausting in the mind. So, Caroline, that's why I try to make sure I get out of the house every day and walk and walk and walk, because we need to move the body and like to take our mind off the processing, the endless processing round and round, to take the mind away, that it's got nothing to kind of chew over, and let the spaciousness come in. So it is, as you say, kind of like getting a download when we take our mind off the details of all this stuff. And I woke up this morning with this like, oh, I want to write a book about, I want to do a book of beautiful photographs of sacred places and prayers. And it's like, where did that come from? But it's just because I've taken a few days of not chewing everything over, and I just have that space. And then, you're connecting with your divine or higher self, or however you want to name it, or inspiration, and like plugging back into whatever you call it. I don't have any names for it. I never know what to call these things, but some people have particular names. So can we give that to ourselves?
Yeah,
And well, you get some really wonderful comments here. It's beautiful, all your input. And Brigitte, we've got about 20 minutes before the end of the call, and you sent me an amazing thing just as I was arriving here. I got a message in my inbox from you about Rainer, our wonderful German lawyer. I don't know if we still ought to be cautious about what we say, but that case
Yes, that case has been received in the court in Canada. It has been received. So that means, as many of us know, once that court with thousands of lawyers worldwide and tens of thousands of doctors and tens of thousands of testimonies from damage. So the court case has been received and it's going now to be processed. So that's a wonderful news. And remember that once Canada starts rolling with this, it's going to have the domino effect for the rest of the humanity globally. So for me, it's an absolutely wonderful news. And remember, Rainer Fulmich is German, but he's American as well. I think he's got the dual nationality.
Yeah.
So, and he's extremely dedicated. He's done tremendous amount of research on the psychological implications of what these experimentations and the PCR and what has been rolling out, which was planned beforehand. So the case is going to be turning. It's like plowing. It's going to be plowing what has been the pandemic that has been rolling over Earth. I use the word plow because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the field being plowed to turn over everything that was, once again, to go back to Paul and the Tartarian, how easy it is to invert the matrix and to do a copy-paste of what we as humanity, from the beginning of time when we came to this planet Earth, we were given so many gifts and we created such amazingly beautiful places. And that was copied and pasted. And then the originals were destroyed. And then they inserted inside those buildings inversions. So we could no longer access.
There's so many billions of people, out there, that have been working on different levels with all the different aspects of what's going on. And at this point in time, there's a big thing happening in England with a police officer that's also launched a crime case against the government. The government has been investigating murder of the population. So that's a policeman that's launched that in the UK. That's going very well. And then I just was sent, Jack, I think you watched this film last night that a friend of mine sent me, which you said was the best documentary you'd ever seen. So just telling everybody it's called Planet Lockdown. I'll see if I can post it underneath here. It's an amazing amount of interviews and things, really taking everything apart. There's so much stuff coming up and out, and so much huge amount of transformation. So I really feel like we are at the tipping point, we're at the turning point, and if we can just resource ourselves for the home run, you know, we're on the last, not to say that everything is going to be completed just like that, but it's like we've got more time to keep going, but we're at this turning point and we have to really nourish and resource ourselves and make sure that we're really well, because we're going to be required to help grow the new earth, aren't we? We have to contribute with our wisdom, with our skills and our vision to create a new reality here, something completely different. Something in alignment with what you're sharing, Brigitte, about those places in the community where people work together and share together, where people are in connection. And
bringing them back to life, Juliet. Bringing the community back to life in a very different place where there is respect. Respect is kindness, solidarity, offering support to one another. Because we were taken into capitalism, totalitarianism, dictatorship, there was like, you know, that sort of competition, walking on top of each other. That cannot function with us. We can't function that way.
No, it goes against our biology. Humans are biologically created to be tribal, to be interconnected, to be working together as a community, not to be feeding off the backs of each other. Yeah. So Graham said the new earth will require everyone to wear a scarf. Yes, you're bringing up the scarf.
I love you, Graham.
About the scarves, and we had this little chat at the beginning, didn't we, Brigitte? It's like we have not decided yet how to do the scarf auction.
Well, there are two who will be auctioned. I'm finishing another one. And I've made 4 so far. Well, on top of making other things. So, and it's lovely to hear from you, Paul, that you make magnesium capsules yourself. And they contain 4 different types of magnesium, and Jack loves them. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so Paul's really well with his business. So, what else have we missed? So, yes,
Abigail, there is a video of a woman speaking to a GP asking to book her B jab, and the doctor replied, "Don't take it; it's going to be taken off."
Wow,
that's a joke, isn't it?
Yeah. So, do you all follow my Telegram channel? Because there's a lot of things that we can't talk about here, and I can't put on Facebook, but I do put in the Telegram channel. So the links are underneath the YouTube videos for the Telegram channel. So there's a lot of exciting things happening that I can't necessarily post here.
Oh, sorry, Juliet, I'm cutting across. We've got someone again. I don't know if it's someone very nice who's just a dodgy NGO, VOR NGO.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
No, let's just ignore. So whoever you are,
make yourself clear.
Make yourself very, very clear, because I love the O, because the O is just like,
Yeah.
Two eyes. So I see you. And we can have, like that. And I don't go with this language.
No. Elias says she's felt a persona shift that's connected to the collective dramas. Feels like some hope now. It's been so painful to me. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of hope coming now. Although, interestingly, when I went into Penzance yesterday and I was feeling buoyant, and then I went into Penzance, it just feels that down in Cornwall, people are still very much stuck in the hoax, because lots of people are all masked up. And I felt my energy levels dropped considerably as I went into Penzance. I felt really flat. And then I drove off and I went to the Merry Maiden Stone Circle, and then it all lifted again, and I did some prayers there, and so staying away from people who are too caught up in the hoax.
I'm wondering, Juliet, thank you for sharing that. And I used to live near Penzance, and today we're going to the town, and I was reminded by a police car, "Can you put your mask on?" I just didn't bother to listen, just went walking in the town. I wasn't in a shop. Now, my question is, can you remove this person who is just not made themselves known? Yeah? Can you remove them? Delete them?
I have no means of removing anybody from here, but I could remove them from the YouTube channel later on if they were causing.
Yeah, if you could do that, because it's not the first time we've had visitors. And just like in other places, I tend to remove them.
Well, I'm not quite sure. Let me see. Block user on YouTube. Oh, there you go.
Yes, block Doge High Ek Mop. Anybody who hasn't got a proper name, you have no room to be here with the elders. So whoever you are, either you speak our language. I don't mind if you speak Spanish or French. Whoops, something went wrong. They're reloading the page.
No, they've gone now. Oh, Abigail says they're spammers. Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm saying to you. Doge High.
Gone.
That's it, gone. Perfect.
I'm mastering the technology.
One of the GBJAP companies is now talking about a tablet to combat the hoax, to be taken daily, and it will report to a system database when it is dissolved in the stomach.
Yes, that's one of the narratives. But
Okay.
a positive thing that somebody's hacked Pfizer's database, which I did put on the Telegram channel. So all the data from Pfizer about all the results of every injection has been now released to the public because it was hacked.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Now, Graham, you mentioned about the scarves, that everybody should wear a scarf. So we're still not clear how to do this. So if you know how to do this, we would be very, very delighted. I mean, I'm talking about the raffle. Because
Yeah.
unless we pick a name, and who here would be interested
Well,
in
the
a scarf?
point is, it's about fundraising, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, it's taken, how many hours did it take you to knit the scarf, Brigitte?
Oh, I knit when I'm on Zooms, or when I'm studying, or when I'm just meditating.
So it's full of all the love and the prayers and
Yeah.
the good Brigitte vibes. So it's
Yeah.
many hours of knitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
A stitch at a time. 10
Yeah.
hours, 20 hours, 30 hours,
Oh, I would say it's a good 30 to 40 hours.
30 to 40 hours. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's a huge amount of work, and then it's good quality wool, isn't it? Expensive wool.
So beautiful Paul would say, I would be happy to act as a moderator on Elders' Wisdom to help with the trolls. And Graham, we would bid online during the show, and the best bid wins.
Yeah, but I think we'd have to set a starting point of the bids given the input for the scarf, and that it's more than just. I mean, this is the thing when you can get a scarf for £5 from China or something.
Charity. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like how to give it the value that it. So, has anybody any idea about that? I don't know. Not
Well, we're waiting. Paul send them back under the mountain. That's Abigail. Well, maybe not under the mountain. Maybe back where they belong.
Yeah.
And never to be returned here. It has to be good quality wool to deal with my tender skin. Oh, well, that's something else, Graham. Then I would say this one, the one I've knitted. You could ask Jack. What do you feel, Jack? It's quite rough, isn't it? It's quite something. It hasn't been washed. Starting bid is £20, says Graham. And Jack, beautiful scarf, set a high reserve, worth every penny, really love mine. How do you feel is yours, Jack, please, around your neck? Because Graham just said it has to be good quality wool to deal with my tender skin. So maybe you need silk.
The thing is, wool can be a bit itchy. I made my son a beautiful, beautiful woolen sweater when he was a little boy, and then he wouldn't wear it. He says, "Oh, Mum, it itches, it itches."
Yeah, I've had that with my eldest daughter. Can't cope with wool. So Julie, lovely Julie, no less than £100. Well, we have one starting bid at 20 from Graham. And Julie, you're saying no less than 100 to start with or to end, Julie? Well, we did say we were not going to do it today with Juliet because she wasn't sure how to do it. So who is interested? Anyway, maybe not everybody is interested in a woolen scarf to go towards. It is the fund of the tractor. Is it still, Juliet?
Well, it's still the tractor fund, yes. We raised 1,000 with the other, the GoFundMe, but we need to raise about 4,000, 4 or 5,000 in total.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to knit a lot more, aren't I? Or crochet.
I'm sure it'll come together, but well, would everybody like to turn up next week? And
okay,
if we've got
Debbie's saying, I think £100 to start is more realistic. Good gracious me. Well, then you're paying for the love, and I wasn't paying for the love. The love is a gift.
we're charging for the love. Not rough at all. Jack says it's not rough.
Wonderful feeling having it 1 minute. Well, maybe Jack, you're a man who loves roughness around your neck. I think Graham says, oh, Graham's bid is 110 pounds. We're already bidding.
Oh goodness. Can we hold on until next week? Now that we've got some kind of feeling about how to do this, we'll do it next week. Is that okay?
Yeah, and Julie is sending love, laughter, a hand and a heart with stars. Gray is a cheapskate, lol. I don't know what that means.
Cheapskate. It's an English expression.
What does it mean?
Trying to get something for cheap or something.
Oh, well, that's not the place to come to.
I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes left, and I just want to announce that those that saw it, I hope you liked my little mystery video, and nobody could guess, first of all. It was like a win a free night stay at Healing Waters. It's
Wait a minute, I haven't looked at it, Juliet, so I might be able to win it. I have not had time to listen to it.
Somebody has already won. They've already messaged me, but
okay.
But listen and see if you can. Well, I think I have to announce where it is now. Do I have to announce it, Jack? Jack did guess, but it was a little video, and it's like, can you guess where this live stream is from? And lots of people were guessing, but they didn't get the right place. And Jack, you didn't get the right place either. But Jack, you made a fatal mistake because you assumed that I was on a day trip, and therefore, even though you had a suspicion of what the place was, you didn't give yourself credence for that because you assumed I wouldn't be there because I wouldn't have been able to reach it on a day trip. But actually, I have been that far on a day trip, first of all. But secondly, don't let your mind be limited by assumptions, because I wasn't actually on a day trip. Why did you think I was on a day trip?
It's the trickster, isn't it? The trickster. We create little stories which we project on the screen, and then we bring them into reality. And in fact, it turned out that Juliet did get there.
Yeah. And the thing is, Jack, you could have won if you just not assumed that I wouldn't be at that place that your intuition was telling you it might be. So don't go there. Yeah. Anyway, Jack, somebody else got the answer in before you, so so they will get the free night at Healing Waters. But that was so much fun doing that. I want to do it again because I love going places and I love having little quizzes. So look out for more little quizzes. And the other thing is that we're going to have a January flash sale at Healing Waters where we're going to, look out for that, where we're going to give an opportunity to have a room and something else for a fixed amount, which is a very great deal. So we'll be announcing that soon. So that's not very coherent, but anyway. Yes, so, and Jack has made a lovely Friends of Healing Waters page, which was a great idea.
Wonderful.
So
I think you've asked me to join. I think I might have said yes, but I have to be very mindful because I've joined so many things and I feel I'm not really engaging. And when I join something, I really feel I have to focus. And there's so much of me. So Jack is saying really happy for whoever won. And wait a minute, we have a poll from Nutrient Nirvana. We're saying, I'd love a scarf. Well, you're in for a raffle. If not this one, the next. Jack, don't go there, maybe, about the assumptions. No, because I know that about many. And Graham has put a new bid at £110.50. I'm going to start feeling guilty now.
Yeah. Okay, so do join us next week. We're coming up to the end of the call, and let's check in and see how things are then. Everything's moving thick and fast, and on the one side, it's like a pair of scales. On the one side, it seems to be getting massively terrifying and dire and awful and bleak and hopeless, but on the other side, there are incredible things happening. So it depends on where you're looking. But the important thing is to stay resourced. You know, we don't want to collapse at this point in time. We have to really resource ourselves and be ready to ready for the last phase of this, or the first phase of the new that's coming. Yeah. Stay resourced. Stay. You know, check moment by moment. What's my capacity right now to deal with this situation that's coming up in front of me? What's my nervous system doing? Am I massively stressed? In which case, I need to stop and take a break. Or can I be spacious around this and say, yes, I can support it. I'm good in this moment. This is what you need to ask yourself. So, you know, how do you tell when you're stressed? It's really important to know when you're stressed. So we should pictures of the retreat. What do you mean, Graham? We should send pictures of the retreat?
I don't understand what you mean, but it's the end of our beautiful call, our sacred circle.
Yeah, so send, if you've got any pictures of Healing Waters and you've stayed there, send them to the friends page. And we're going to end now because we deserve to have a cup of tea, us elders. So bye for now. Lots of love to you all and see you next week. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Blessings.